30-06 John here, and today what I'm doing is making some 300 Blackout brass from the ever plentiful 223 brass. Keep watching and I hope you enjoy the video. So the main tools I'm using to make this 300 Blackout brass is this 2-inch bench cut-off saw. Got this at Harbor Freight. Very popular for making 300 Blackout brass. I'm using this die set here. This is an RCBS Blackout die set, but it's a small base. It also has a taper crimp on it. This is especially made for AR rifles. It's a little bit different from a full-length die set. You need a case gauge. This is a Hornady 300 Blackout case gauge, very handy to have. I'll be trimming the brass with this RCBS case trimmer. Also, I have a small primer pocket reamer for getting rid of those crimps. I'm using just 223 range pickup brass. A lot of brass out there. You know, when you pick up stuff that's really corroded like this piece is, no reason to try to save it. Just throw it away. Use a different one. Also, you'll pick up brass that has the mouth bashed in pretty good like this one. You're cutting it off, so it doesn't really matter. A lot of people use a jig, but just putting the brass in, make sure it's level. Line up the blade. Tighten it clamped on. You want to cut it right at the shoulder. After cutting off the tops of the cases, I like to take a deburring tool, like this right here, and just deburr the outside and the inside of the cases, especially the outside, so when you resize it, it doesn't have any burrs, creating more pressure. After I cut the brass, then I clean it, either tumbling or wet tumble it. Make sure you lubricate the cases. Use your favorite case lube. I use One Shot. Don't be too stingy. You are resizing the case. Alright, let's start. I like to resize it like 3 times. Not going too fast. Make sure there's no spring back from the brass. Looks good. We'll put in the case gauge, make sure it goes in okay. So after I'm done resizing them, I put them in the case gauge, see if they all work. Let's say it should be flush or just slightly below the top, but not below the bottom groove right there. A certain amount of the brass won't fit in the gauge, like this one right here. Just way some 223 brass evidently gets damaged in the firing. This here just sits up just a little bit. If you want to try to use it, that's fine. It may function in your gun, may not. And just so everyone realizes, right here, this is Grizzly remanufactured ammunition. They used remanufactured brass. This one here only goes in, you know, it's still sticking out there about 1/4 of an inch. I marked this one here, so I want to see if this one here functions in my gun. And this Arms Corps Made in the USA 300 Blackout ammunition, a lot of this ammunition sticks up a little bit also. And this ammunition functions fine on my gun. So just give you a heads up on that. When you check the brass in the gauge here, a certain amount of it's going to stick up a little bit, a 1/16 of an inch, a 32nd of an inch. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. There's plenty of 223 to cut down into 300 Blackout. The next step I like to do is clean out the primer pocket, ream it out, make sure there's no crimp in it. I do it to all of them. I don't really check. I have this reamer tool, small primer pocket reamer tool. It's a little hand intensive there, but you'll get the primer pockets clean and get rid of that crimp. Have to trim the cases down to the correct length. I have this RCBS case trimmer. I'm trimming to 1.360 inches. Let's see if I could do this without making too much of a bump in the camera or anything. Taking brass off on this one. Yeah, you mean it's done there. Sometimes it gets stuck in there a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to deburr this one here. After I'm done trimming, deburr it again, inside and out. Then drop it in the case gauge one more time. Make sure it fits. Yep, looks good. Not too hard to make 300 Blackout brass out of 223 brass. A lot of people do it. There is a lot of 223 brass sitting at ranges anymore that people shoot and they don't pick up, and it works well. That's all that I have for today, everyone. Hey, thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe. Merry Christmas, and have a nice day.